I went from Ashi to Gassy.
What the hell do you mean you went from Ashy to Gassy? Oh, God.
Mate, I'm telling you, some of these kebabs killing me. These German doner kebabs
I feel sorry for your toilet.
killing me.
Killing me being sat next to Smelly Smalls.
Smelly Smalls. I like that one. I've not heard that one before.
50 pieces.
I love that. Welcome back, guys, to the Benchwarmer Podcast. We're back again. For another hour.
round with Armelius.
Yeah, with Armelius.
Armelius!
And the favourite one, Zed.
Whoa, he's not done it right. Phaser.
It's Zed. Yeah.
That's put emphasis on my name.
Yeah.
Emphasis on my name.
Yeah.
So what's been going on in your hood? Phaser.
Well, nothing much, but I did want to bring something to the table today around, like, if you start thinking around...
Oh, no, Phaser, sorry. I was going to ask you something. Have you seen that thing on Netflix?
What?
That World War II documentary that they've remade?
In colour.
In colour?
Yeah, in colour.
In colour,
Yeah,
it's so sick. It's so sick.
So they've got the old clips of what's been going on.
Yeah,
in World War
they've
II.
made it into like this movie. It's absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, I've seen.
Yeah, I think it's like 8-9 parts.
Yeah.
But I think they've taken bits from the History Channel archives, because they've got like a shed ton of stuff on World War II, and they've taken lots of that and then applied colour to it, and it's like for the first time ever seeing World War One, I think it is, in colour. Yeah.
Oh, that's a big feat, that.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Because
It is a big
do you know how they actually do it as well?
No.
So they match that. So they've got a database of colours. So the gradients of greys will determine what the colour would be.
Oh wow.
So they have loads of like data input into this machine, and then it then churns out what it's supposed to be, and then they'll add the final finishing touches to it. So
Interesting.
like, if it's really dark grey, it could be a brown or something like that, and if it's really light, it could be a green, like a field.
Yeah.
And then if it's white, it's an explosion.
Yeah, which makes sense. Yeah,
Technology,
which makes sense.
technology, mate. Technology.
Yeah, technology is a big
Well,
one.
anything to do with World War, though, that's like, for me, it's like, do you know why that is?
Go on.
Right. GCSE,
Yeah.
history.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I love
yeah.
history,
Yeah.
but I'm more ancient history.
Yeah.
That's
yeah,
me.
yeah.
Anything to do with that. When I grew up, when I was a kid, I watched Jurassic Park, and I was like, when I grow up, I want to be an archaeologist.
Yeah, go find the fossils of
Yeah,
dinosaurs.
go find fossil
Little
dinosaurs.
do you know, you'd be burning
then-
it in your car to get to work every day.
I know. And then in year 3, we learned about Tutankhamun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Egyptian.
Yeah.
I was like,
ancient
whoa.
Egypt is sick.
Yeah,
it's
ancient Egypt,
yeah,
love that.
What, 3,000 years, 3 to 5,000 years old? Is
Yeah.
ancient Egyptian.
That's it. So I loved anything to do with Egyptians. I loved then Roman. Love that. Because then there
World
was
War II.
Modern
What's your
history.
beef
yeah,
with World War
modern
II?
history is just not my thing.
Yeah,
mean,
but you know what? It's not really my thing either. But there's just something about World War One and Two that I just flipping love. Obviously,
It's what shaped the world.
I'd say
the modern world.
I'd say one of the biggest things that came from it was the fall of empires.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
World War
was.
II was
Yeah.
literally the fall of empires.
Yeah.
How many empires just
So
crumbled?
was it World War? Well, you got the Ottoman Empire fell through that as well, didn't it?
Through the First World War.
First World War,
Yeah.
because then the introduction of oil and all that thing. And
No, it was not the Second World War because when they
I'm
teamed
sure-
up with the Germans and stuff.
No, I think it's World War One.
Was that World War One?
Because the Lawrence of Arabia, that was all
Yeah.
back in World
Yeah,
War One.
I like to say I ain't got a clue because I've
Yeah.
no interest in it.
And World War Two, that was more Germany, and
That was
that was more the advancements. I mean, World War One and World War Two weren't that far apart, were they?
No.
They were
like
quite
10
close.
years.
Yeah.
But the
If you think
technology,
we've gone through in the Western world, we've gone through peace for a very long time now.
yeah.
You know, something's got to give at some point. You know, it's
Yeah.
just a natural order of life.
Yeah.
You know,
There has to be some sort
there's
of
got to be
rest
something.
on it,
Yeah,
yeah.
there's got to be something.
Well, have
Are
we
you
got
trying to
peace?
say
is it
World War
peace in the
III?
West or is it peace in the Middle East?
No,
Yeah,
it's
I don't
the-
think
it's
we'll.
the West.
Yeah,
It's the West.
but I don't think in my lifetime we'll ever see peace in the Middle East.
No,
No.
I just don't think it'll be a thing.
it's too much
Yeah.
politics involved.
Yeah,
Way too much.
Too many
It
proxy
makes
wars.
my
too many-
head hurt.
Yeah, there's too much going on. But going back to World War II, if you think about it, yeah, obviously Germany after World War One
Yeah.
were in bits.
Yeah.
Economy collapsed.
Economy collapsed.
9 yards.
Wheelbarrows of money.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, to buy a loaf of bread.
Yeah, exactly.
Inflation through the roof.
They were burning the money because it wasn't worth anything.
It was cheaper to burn money than to buy wood.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. So throughout that period, so obviously they started secretly arming themselves again throughout the consequential years after the World War. The Germans, right? Yeah, which then obviously you had the nationalist party come in on the back of Hitler, who was obviously fought in World War One, was medically discharged, got shot in the
I didn't know
butt
that.
cheeks or something. Yeah.
Really?
He served in World War One.
He served in World War One.
And then they started arming. But if you think about Germany, as a country and their technological advancements
at that time,
it was massive.
Unbelievable.
It was massive.
Yeah.
And they had technology for days. But if you think that they had all this technology, so they invented the cruise missiles, the ballistic missiles.
Yeah.
I
thought it was the Americans.
Aircraft.
Oh yeah, the aircrafts, the U2,
those big balloon bones. What was that thing like? The big balloon
torpedoes.
Torpedoes.
Oh, the tanks.
Having radios in all the tanks and being able to communicate between tanks. Like this was like major technological advancements.
Can you imagine Snapchat in World War II? Go on the field.
This is it. But in terms of rocketry, mechanics, and weaponry, their technology was second to none. If their technology was so good,
why did they
ahead of US and the UK, why did they not win the war?
It's an interesting question, that.
If you think about it, you got to think about how many countries were they fighting as one country.
Well, let's go through it. Yeah. So if you think about the fighting, when they went into Poland, and
that triggered the. Was that it was the invasion of Poland, wasn't it? And then from Poland, where did they go? Was it France? When did they get into France?
No, France was later.
Holland.
They took Holland. Yeah, they took.
But I guess because they didn't have anything to fight with.
Poland, they weren't expecting it.
Yeah.
Next minute, Germany knocks up on the door. Aye, we're here.
In modern history,
come on in.
In modern history, the German advancement.
My house now.
The German advancement in terms of takeover of land is actually insane when you look at it.
I think the rate at which they took over.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Because you got to remember, most of these countries, well, not most, but like some countries, they'd come from empires that had collapsed.
Yeah.
So then they're starting to now build their own economy. So they haven't really got that infrastructure there or an army to really defend.
And I guess Germany were ahead of their time to be able to
it was
get the technology and then just start.
That's it. Let's move.
Before anyone
Let's
else
go.
Exactly.
Which is a clever way to take over somewhere.
Yeah.
I wouldn't endorse it.
No, but
make love, not war.
Yeah, but if you think about if you think about it from the perspective of if they had all this technology, why did they not win the war?
Just sheer numbers. You got to think. You had Russia. Fighting them.
Yeah.
You had obviously the Allies, so you got Russia, America, England. I don't know who else was involved in this war from a fighting.
Well, then you've got the Far East as well.
Obviously, you had the French resistance.
Yeah.
You got the Russians. You got obviously the guys in the US of A.
So
you've got the UK,
but they came quite late.
You've got the African nations.
Didn't the Americans come in late into the war?
They came in late into the war. Yeah, but don't forget, you also people forget that there was a whole war going on with the Africans, with the African colonies from the UK.
Within themselves?
Yes. No, with the Germans.
Oh, with the Germans.
Yeah. In North Africa, there was a huge battle raging on in World War II that doesn't really get talked about.
Yeah.
And if you think from the other perspective as well, do you know an interesting question? Muslims fought in World War II.
Yeah.
1.2 million Muslims.
Yeah. For the UK, or was it in general?
No, for the UK. Yeah.
For the UK. Yeah.
Obviously, India was part of the British Empire.
Yeah. Well, it was. Yeah, because.
It's part of the British Empire,
a lot of them were stationed across North Africa and France.
That's why you probably don't hear about it.
Yeah. Isn't it funny though when you think growing up in school, that was something that I found out way after school.
Yeah, way after school.
Yeah. They didn't talk about it. It wasn't taught in school. Never talked about it. We wear the poppy, but they don't talk about that sort of. That's why history can sometimes be so
very
convoluted
distorted, isn't it?
That's why
Yeah,
you know that.
very
Do
distorted.
you remember that Absolutely Fabulous, that sitcom?
Yeah.
Yeah, that posh woman. I can't remember her name now.
I know who you're on about.
Yeah. I'm bad with names.
Yeah.
You've probably noticed this guy with every single podcast.
Yeah.
I know what I'm talking about, but I can't name him.
Yeah.
Mr. Producer, just get that name for us, please. Right, Absolutely Fabulous. Yeah, there was Jennifer something as
Jennifer
one.
Gardner? No.
No, she did the voice for the fairy godmother in Shrek.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I know her. Yeah.
Oh, you know her name, then, don't you? He likes fairies. He dances with them.
What's the name? Is that it?
No, not the movie. Absolutely Fabulous, the TV series. Joanna Lumley.
Joanna Lumley.
Yeah.
She is so big on the, like the India side.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Recently
unspoken.
she went to India as well, and she travelled around.
For what?
Yeah, for the war.
Oh, okay.
For those soldiers that died in the war, the unspoken heroes.
Yeah.
She was like really big on that. I remember watching like some sort of documentary about why are we not talking about the millions of Indian,
the ethnic minority.
that fought in the war and died. And you're right, because it doesn't get spoken about.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, it's like the
But
unspoken.
going back to that, so what was the reason why Germany didn't win the war?
It's
And I
sheer
would think
numbers.
it's maybe sheer numbers. Yeah.
It was, but they had a crucial problem, which was as advanced as their technology was, and their weaponry, they couldn't produce enough to deal with the demand that they needed. So
Was that
whether it
because
was
of
the guns,
resources
resources, whether it was the guns, whether it was the bullets, whether it was the tanks, the missiles, because you think ballistic missiles these days, ballistic missiles. What's the other one? Not just ballistic cruise missiles and ballistic missiles. Used in wars all over, but also used to do what? Like you could put a nuclear head on a ballistic missile. You can
scary.
It's mad what you can do with them, isn't it?
This is it. So if you think like going through that period, and you've got all this technology, but if you can't execute, then you've got one of one, haven't you? You might have the blueprint, but it doesn't mean that you're the best.
The blueprints, they're going to throw the blueprint in their face and say, "Here you go," and then I win.
Yeah, exactly. But then what's the other side of war? The cost of war.
Yeah. And they were in financial crisis.
And they were,
they're already
so
coming out from inflation and all that sort of stuff. Yeah.
So from their perspective, why didn't they win the war? Well, I think firstly, because you can't say that they weren't savvy and clever in their battle strategies.
Yeah.
Like if you look at the Blitzkrieg and how they devised ways of surprise attacks. To cause mass destruction.
The Blitz. In
exactly.
Kind of thing,
So it's like...
Can I just say, it almost sounds like phasery. I wanted Germany to win the World War. That would have been a whole...
But have you never thought of like, what if Hitler won?
Well, have you seen that? Have you seen that program? That what was it called? I
don't think we'll be alive.
It's gonna annoy me.
No, we'd still be alive. But
the program that came on Sky about the Nazis won, and America ends up getting split.
Oh yeah,
what was it? Man in the High Castle.
Man in the High Castle.
And it's such an interesting take on what the world would be like, because America ended up split between the Germans and the Japanese. And it's like it takes a whole new stance on what actually happened in the war. But they end up going through this journey where they actually find these old school tapes of what actually happened in the war. And they're like, hold on a minute. We won the war. How's this coming? And it's like an alternate reality thing. It's
I've always wanted to watch it.
What if thing?
Yeah. No, but the reality that they're living in, Germany won the war.
Right, okay.
It's like an altered reality.
Alternate, So it's like a what if scenario, isn't it?
Yeah. But the them winning the war was actually real, but somewhere down that timeline, it's been altered to that Germany actually won the war, didn't lose the war. But where that shift happens, I've never seen it. But did they ever uncover that? Like, where did the dimensional shift occur?
I don't know because I didn't finish watching it.
Okay.
So I'm not quite sure whether they did. I'm assuming they did, and everything was hunky dory, and then the alternate reality must have changed back to the world that we're in today, and everybody's happy. But no, just for the record, I don't think Germany winning was the right thing at all. But I'm just saying, if they had all this technology and they were superior in their weaponry and their, even now, if you think of cars nowadays, what's the best manufacturer?
I was going to say this, right?
Yeah.
Germany may not have won the war.
Yeah.
Right. But from an economical point of view,
they came out on top.
They are
not really because Germany.
No. Germany practically ruled the EU.
Yeah, but
now. Okay. Here's an interesting point. So if you think about the Nazis, who was the guy who headed the UN Council when it was created?
Nazi.
I don't know.
He was a Nazi.
Really?
He was a Nazi. Can we get the name up, Mr. Producer? Who was the guy? That became the general of the UN when it was created.
So the UN Council, when it was created, it was a Nazi German.
It was a Nazi German, yeah.
Yeah, but then everyone was a Nazi in Germany, wasn't it? You kind of had to be.
No, but these guys were real guys. Like, I'm not talking about like low, like
high ranking.
Yeah, like high ranking German Nazi officials.
So did they get pardoned? He must have got pardoned then for like his war crimes and stuff.
Yeah, well, obviously,
but then
again, got tried in the what were the
in America? Was it the one in America?
What were the trials called? The Nuremberg trials.
That was it. Nuremberg trials. That's interesting.
Yeah. So, but some of them got off. So if you think about it, all these technological advancements, and they had all these scientists who've clearly got two pennies between their eyes.
Yeah.
You know, like the guy who worked on the Manhattan Project in the US. You know,
ex-Nazi.
No.
Oh,
no,
okay.
but he was a German.
Oh, he was German.
He was a German, wasn't he? Oh, Oppenheimer.
Oh yeah, Oppenheimer.
Yeah. He was a German.
Mm.
You know,
Kurt Waldheim.
Yes, this is a guy, Kurt
Waldheim.
Yeah, this guy was a Nazi. Imagine that.
He headed
the United Nations.
Yeah.
So, do you think my statement of Germany practically ruining the EU is correct, or am I just overlooking it?
Clearly, history tells us that there was probably some truth in it. If you got the guy that was a Nazi heading it up.
But then again, it didn't really work in their favour, did it?
No.
Heading the UN. So he obviously de factoed away from it. Maybe he was never a Nazi.
Yeah. But these German scientists were very sought after. Yeah. There was a guy called Werner von Braun.
Albert Einstein. He's German.
Yeah. But this guy, was a full-on Nazi.
Right.
Yeah. This von Braun.
Von Braun.
He was a full-on Nazi.
Yeah.
What did the US do? They didn't trial him with the rest of them.
Come over here and tell your secrets.
Come over here and run our NASA program.
All right.
To send us to the moon.
Oh.
And he was part of the team that he headed the team up in NASA.
Yeah.
Who built the Saturn V rocket that subsequently sent man to the moon.
Wow.
If you believe that man actually sat on the moon.
Well, that's a whole
that's
a whole different podcast we're going to be talking about. Yeah.
But it's like, that is, so there were these German Nazi scientists, were they truly held to account?
Well, it's kind of like difficult, isn't it? Like, you've got to conform, or if you don't, then like the German citizens, how riled up were they? Like, how on board were they with Hitler? Yeah.
I guess they were just they were born into it where they had no choice but to follow this whole.
It's like if anything happens today,
madman.
Yeah, like I don't really want to get into it, but there's like with the political stuff that's going on there.
Yeah.
How many millions of people are on board with what's going on? In the Middle East, and so many are against. Yeah. But then you go and ask someone's viewpoint who's living there. They'll have one side of the story because that's what they've been fed. You have the other side story because that's what they've been fed.
And the other thing to that is nowadays you don't even have a right to say whatever you want. Against the agenda.
Yeah, which is why I'm not mentioning any names, any countries in specific.
It's unfortunate what's going on, and war is never a good thing. War is never.
But then again, so like what you're saying with them being tried, maybe 90% of them were literally do it or be killed kind of thing.
Yeah. Potentially.
They'd be lined up.
Yeah. And I don't know the Nuremberg trials inside out. You know, there was a trial for the doctors, trial for the scientists, trial for, you know, the SS members, you know, that were the SS officers and all the rest of it.
Like, for example, do you remember that woman from the concentration camps who would make lampshades out of the skin of...
What?
You never hear about that? No. How do you not know about that one?
She made lampshades from the skin of
the people who had died
in the concentration
camps.
The prisoners of war.
No, not the prisoners.
Or they were prisoners of war.
All the Jews.
All the Jews in the concentration camps.
Really?
Yeah, she made lampshades of the skin. Bring it up, Mr. Producer. You'll see it.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Is that her name? Lisa Kosh.
Yeah, lampshades made from human skin.
Gosh, I read it as cock.
No way. No, don't show that.
It's a lampshade, but it's human skin.
Yeah. Take that right off. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah,
you have to be quite messed up to be able to do.
And like someone going onto trial for that, of course, that person deserves every piece.
Think of the process that you have to go to do that. Like, surely from a moral standpoint, don't forget about a moral standpoint. Just from the standpoint of what type of conformity must you be at where you are like, you know what?
That's pleasure though, isn't it? That's sadistic on another level. Yeah.
I'm going to take your skin, fillet you, rip your skin apart, and I'm going to stretch it over.
Make it into an ornament.
Yeah, make it into an ornament. That's
to brighten up my living room. What?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Because apparently you gave a nice shade.
50 Shades of Grey.
Oh wow, we're actually laughing at that.
Come on, that's 50 Shades of Grey.
No, I didn't mean it like that.
That's crazy.
But you know what? That's sadistic as well, isn't it?
But you know what? That's a nice little segue into actually one thing that I wanted to speak about, which was
50 Shades of Grey.
No.
Come on, boy. I'm gonna whip you in shape.
We already talked about how you're a bit at work.
With Billy Bob.
Yeah.
What you and Billy Bob do?
But you know what they used to? You know the scientists and like some of these professors and doctors used to carry out mad experiments on people, especially
during the World War.
The Nazis were ruthless.
Yeah,
they were ruthless.
What sort of experiments?
I've got some examples. So one of them was they would wound subjects on purpose to test drugs on them to see how they'd react. So, for example, they would chop your leg off, right, to inflict like a battle-like wound. Yeah? Right. So, let's say a bomb went off or something, or a grenade exploded and you lost your leg. Yeah. So, but you haven't. But Amelia says, "Come over," and decide he's going to chop your leg off. Yeah. So now,
would you?
Yeah.
So
I wouldn't even give you any anesthetic or anything. Straight through the bone.
Straight one.
Dick.
Done. But now, without giving you any anesthetic, they will start administering drugs to see how you react. And the purpose behind it was to see,
scientific research.
Yeah, scientific research under the guise of, if we have soldiers that have been get injured, how can we get them back
onto the front line as quick as possible?
As quick as possible, yeah. Like, is there drugs that we can give them that's going to help them along that? Keep them going.
Turn them into Captain America.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Inject them with the
drug. They probably did stuff like that.
Yeah, no, but that was the Russians mainly. We'll get onto that. Trying to create superhumans. But the point being that they wouldn't give you any sort of anesthetic or anything whatsoever before administers drugs, so it's pure pain. And then on top of that, think about it this way: on top of that, they'd even rub bacteria into your wounds, etc., to see how bad can they get it.
Yeah, until like the point of no return.
Yeah. Basically,
wow,
that is mad.
Imagine that is mental.
Yeah, it is. And then on top,
this was done on people from like.
And do you know how many people they did this on? Is there any
thousands?
That is
thousands
so
of people.
Sad, man.
But that was just one. That was just one type of experiment.
God damn.
Because if you think about it from the perspective of these guys were ruthless to, like, when you talk about what you said before, following orders, they would follow orders to the T.
But when you got someone like Hitler at the top, you got no choice. You got to follow them orders.
You've got to do it.
Yeah. Another one was they'd have experiments of amputation.
Yeah.
And
so they would amputate.
Yeah, and transplant.
Yeah.
experiments.
So take off your leg and try and put someone else's on you.
Yeah.
What?
So they would chop your arm off, and try and swap them.
Whoa.
You know what I would do then? I would try and attach a wing instead. Fly the hell out of there! Yeah, I do nothing.
Yeah. I love that you're going to say, did they use Velcro?
As you can imagine, both them experiments weren't very successful.
Of course not.
You know,
blood types. Yeah, you can't reattach.
But then, did they know
Muscles,
about blood types then?
tendons.
Do you reckon they knew about?
Yeah, of course they did.
Okay, of course they knew. But it's like, right, what can we do to get it to where we can't to can?
So basically, if you lost an arm in battle and they found another arm,
like, let's put this arm back on you.
Yeah, whack your arm back on, but somebody else's.
Can you imagine one of them walking around with an Indian arm? All of a sudden,
reason, they just automatically start cooking curry.
Yeah. Or a Turkish
arm's going.
It's like add a bit of spice to it. I don't why it's too spicy.
I'm
really hungry. Don't do it because he's an Italian at the same time. He thinks he's swearing, but he's actually saying I'm hungry.
Or a Turkish arm and starts doing salt day. That is mad.
Yeah, it is. Another one was obviously when the Germany went to war. Obviously, they were already fighting on the front line with the alliances. Yeah, with the alliance. But then on the other side, Russia joined the war. Yeah. And when they started attacking on the opposite side and started going into Russia, what was the one thing that is very tough to survive in Russia?
It's winters, snows.
Yeah, I mean snow.
You think about it, it's literally the snow, isn't it? Like Russia, cold, winter. The winters are so hard
to
survive.
You'd have to survive.
So one of the difficulties, or the biggest difficulty is, you're absolutely right. It is the winter, the cold, the freezing temperatures.
I thought there was going to be something else there.
No.
But yeah.
So obviously they needed a solution. You know, because
especially if they went through Siberia.
Exactly. Their guys were not equipped
to because Germany doesn't get that kind of cold.
It doesn't. It doesn't. So what did they do? Well, you know,
how do we acclimatize ourselves?
Yeah. How do we acclimatize ourselves? How cold do we need to get before it becomes actually a problem?
Hypothermia.
Also, is that how?
Don't tell me that they started putting people in ice boxes.
They started putting people in freezing cold water, in ice baths, and all the rest.
And timed how long it took for them to die.
How long before it took them to die, and how long before hypothermia.
Man, that's cold.
And then also when they get to that, and they were measuring people's body temperatures,
that is cold.
And when it gets to the point,
it took them a while, but yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
That's cold,
I had to hold in my laughter because I was like, I can't really laugh at that.
Yeah, I don't know.
God damn it,
Zed again. Yeah, I know we talked about comedy and humor in the last podcast, but there's dark and then there's.
I can imagine them carrying out those tests and on the radio, ice, baby.
What do you need? I need some more ice,
baby.
Oh,
yeah,
no.
obviously, not to make light of the situation.
Yeah, no, it's definitely.
But what they would do is they would then take them out of these ice baths when they'd measure the. They would measure, obviously, they did body temperatures and they keep an eye on it.
How small they shriveled up.
Yeah, obviously, that must have been a byproduct somewhere along the line. I'm sure that did actually happen.
That led to other research. Yeah.
That's how they invented the blue one.
Yeah.
The blue, yeah. Well, which was actually a German invention.
Yeah.
They were working together on this. They would send.
I don't know if that's a fact, actually, by the way. I've just said it for the sake of.
Yeah.
It might have been an American thing. I don't know. But it gives you a heart attack anyway. Stay away from it. But. No, but look. But then they measure, okay, how quick can we then get you warm again?
Okay.
But by the time they got around to pulling people out, they're dead.
Past, yeah.
They're frozen. Gone. See you later. Yeah.
It takes.
Popsicles.
It's absolutely horrible. Hypothermia can take half an hour.
Yeah.
To set in.
It's crazy. Then you got to think, what type of people were these? Like, honestly,
savages.
No
care about human life.
So think about it.
Humanity whatsoever.
Think about it. If that was you, in their shoes, and you've been given orders, right? You got to carry out these experiments.
Or your family, you're gonna.
Or you and your family.
I'd die.
So you let your family die?
Yeah. Because obviously I believe in God. Yeah. So in terms of my own internal belief system, whether I was a Christian, whether I was Jewish, whether I was Muslim, if you are religious and you have a belief system, surely that's not just, that's it's just insane to think about, the fact that if you were in that position, like, what would you do? You've only got two choices. Either you shut up and conform, and you do it, and you kill other people instead, and you do these gruesome experiments on them, in the name of following orders, or you say, no, I'm not going to do it.
That's the thing.
You're not going to do it. Bang.
Yeah, but I guess we would never know.
What if it's that whole argument
unless we're in that situation?
A few lives save millions.
Yeah.
That whole argument.
Yeah.
But then there's another side of thing. They'll kill you, but then they'll replace you within the hour, and somebody else will come in and do it anyway.
Well, how about this?
That sounds like the call centre I used to work at. He's not coming into work while he's dead. All right, no worries. Right, replaced.
Push the button.
Then think of it like this as well. Like, what if you knew that you were going to be helping them do all this research and you were going to die anyway? So would you rather just cop out straight away?
Yeah, you would. Yeah.
But then how would you know that you're going to die later?
Because you just know what these people are like.
Yeah, maybe you've
these
heard
guys
stories of other people dying.
people. They are cold-hearted.
But then you know what it is though. In that moment, people fear death, and it's that fear of death which what makes them conform.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I mean. We would never know until we're put in that situation, life or death situation. Because we can say as much as we want now that, oh no, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it. And then as soon as they pull out 9 milli, put it to your head,
and they hold your child next to you, saying, "Yeah, you don't have to do it, but as long as you say no, your kids one by one we're popping them."
Dada, what are you gonna do? You're gonna say, "Yeah, take them." No chance. You're gonna be fighting.
No. Yeah, you'd be fighting.
And then
you'll conform. You wouldn't fight. You'd conform.
I wouldn't.
No, fight to stay alive.
Most people would conform. Conform. Sorry. Yeah. Majority of people would, because then if you're thinking about it, family.
Well, we know
kids.
Well, not to get into the whole thing, but it's not the first time that certain type of people have been subjected to those types of horrors.
Yeah.
In terms of the Jewish people during World War II, because let's not get it wrong, they
went through some horrible.
They went through some horrible stuff. But at the same time, it's not just the Jewish people that have been subjugated to such treatment, horrors over history.
Yeah.
They were the people at that time that it was their turn, if you will. But they're not the first, and they definitely won't be the last. Yeah. As we know today,
man is too evil.
There's other people that have been subjugated to
humans
absolutely
are evil.
Horrible stuff.
Yeah,
humans are evil, and they will do anything for their own benifit.
Yeah, for sure.
Really
Power makes it. Yeah, we're selfish. And there's a natural thing, innate thing within man of control and power.
Yeah. It's always, I think, like this, the Age of Empires has been from the beginning of time.
Yeah.
War, conquering, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, it's not a new thing.
It's not a new thing, yeah. It's only,
also, like,
this is probably the most peaceful since World War II that, in my opinion, maybe wrong, that humanity's had of peace throughout.
But you got to also,
because that was economical war. It's not.
Yeah, but now, like, you got to think empires are good. Because without empires, there'll be no law, there'll be no order. Man, as men are,
you're talking about
trying
previously.
To kill each other. Yeah, they're savages. We'll try to steal this off someone without law and order, which comes from civilizations, from empires. Someone has to rule the roost. If you don't,
of course, there's always been a rule of the roost. But then that ruler always wants more.
But then that's where you get the mad ones where they're like, okay, well, Hitler, let's not get it wrong. He was a madman.
Genghis Khan, how many millions of people did
I mean, we're all probably descendants.
You think Hitler was bad? Genghis Khan, there was no mercy shown. Women, children, livestock.
There's like 1 in 7 people in the world are descendants from Genghis Khan.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, the mad stat. Yeah,
my man
you
was
can
busy.
say that. He left his stamp.
Yeah.
His footprint is on the earth. Secured.
Busy.
Yeah, but you gotta remember, he had so many kids, and then his kid had so many kids. And then they were spread out. It's short-lived empire, but it was a big empire.
I'll tell you what, he's the one who invented the blue pill.
Well,
mark my words.
You've got the Mongolian blue spot.
What?
Yeah, the Mongolian blue spots are like you get like it's like a birthmark.
Yeah, they say most babies are born with it.
Yeah.
Oh, so that's how I can tell you're.
No, it's Aztecs have like North Americans. They have it as well. Aztecs have it. Native Americans have it. But like they call it from here. Like let's bring it up, Mr. Producer. Mongolian blue spot, just so they can see what it's all about. You have like a birthmark, like either on your back or like your bum.
In your bum?
Yeah, it's like a blue coloured.
Haven't you got a yellow one? It's a bit weird.
For me? No, mine's blue. Oh, that's why I'm wearing blue. Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah, obviously. Let's not show that graphic.
Yeah, let's change that image.
Google it in your own time, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
And there's no treatment for it unless Phaser comes and.
No, basically, yeah. So I think Armelius has already given the download what it is.
Yeah. So it's a birthmark.
Yeah, it's a birthmark.
But they call it blue Mongolian because of how many babies have it and because of that stat. Of Genghis Khan having like 1 in 7 children.
Yeah.
That is mad.
It is. But there was another side to this as well, which was while the Nazis were doing all these crazy experiments, so were the Russians. But they were trying to do something for the other side, which was how do we create superhumans?
Sick.
How do we create superhumans? Because obviously, Russia lost the most amount of civilian and soldiers.
Was it 28 million
in the war? It was something crazy like that.
Like 26.
Yeah. Russia lost the same number of civilian and military casualties that the US and the UK of the US and UK combined.
Wow.
Is that for World War II or World War One and Two?
That was just for World War II.
Let's have a look. 27 million people. I was close.
Wow.
27 million. Yeah. Imagine that.
For someone who hates World War,
yeah.
I do know a bit of
You know
stuff.
a lot, don't you?
Imagine that though.
It's your secret
27 million people. Can you comprehend what that number is?
Yeah,
that's 27 million lives.
Isn't that like how much was the
crazy.
population of London? Is it 27 million?
Well, no, I think London is probably about 40 million.
Is it
No,
40?
actually, no. The UK is 65 million or something.
Yeah,
London 8 million.
Yeah.
Wow.
Less than 9 million. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So we're talking. Wow.
Yeah, you're talking big,
29 million people.
Yeah. But you know what? Like you get.
I can see now why England afterwards were like, guys, we need people, please, from the colonies to come over.
Come over,
yeah,
and help us rebuild.
That's why you had that massive influx from South Asia, Jamaica, the West Indies. They're all previous colonies, weren't they?
Our roots come from that as well.
Yeah,
the whole workforce. That's
the whole workforce that came over.
And if you and if you think about it, while the Nazis were doing that and the
Russians were building super soldiers.
How do we build super soldiers? Because they needed their people to last because they were falling
like flies.
Yeah, like flies. And
like toy soldiers.
27 million people is crazy. It's crazy numbers.
It's mad.
But they were doing all sorts of experiments. They were
the
were
Russians
amputating dogs, and making 2-headed dogs.
What?
Yeah, this Call of Duty stuff that you see, like the
zombie
dogs.
Yeah.
They were doing all sorts of stuff.
2-headed dog.
2-headed dog. Yeah.
Have you got something like that, Mr. Producer? 2-headed dog. Can we get an image up of this 2-headed dog?
So were the Russians successful in any of their research?
Well, they did one to try and find out how do we keep. Have you got it? Vladimir. There he is.
Status report.
There we go. Right, get that on screen. Yeah. So if you have a look, these experiments were crazy.
2-headed dog. Wow. Is that other dog alive?
Yeah. Now apparently there's a few things around the validity of this. So I don't think there's any doubt that this happened, but I think there's a bit of doubt around how long the Russian scientists say they survived in comparison to how it actually was, because I think the full video clip is probably around like 4 or 5 minutes.
What is the point of a 2-headed dog though? Like,
right, imagine this. You're on the battlefield, and all of a sudden,
but that dog's got a paw sticking out.
Yeah. And now imagine this.
Maybe they tried to make a mutant soldier that had 4 arms, 2 heads. So like one Shiva. Could be shooting backwards and one could be shooting forwards.
Like Shiva from Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
Goro. Like Goro, Goro and Shiva.
Yo, that's magic.
Yeah. Imagine that, an army full of Goros and Shivas running towards you on the battlefield. Not with 1 gun, but with 4 guns each.
You'd be walking into a Mortal Kombat.
All right, let me ask you a question. Oh, very good, very good.
I like it.
Let me ask you a question, yeah? What would you do if you were on the battlefield and you seen 50 two-headed dogs running towards you? Listen, I don't care what happens. You are shitting yourself.
No, I wouldn't. If I'm just see 52 dogs, then
I'll walk around and find 52 bones and throw them in different directions and let them fight with
Yeah, but you need 104.
Why?
Because each of them 52 dogs, I've got 2 heads. So it probably wouldn't work. But anyway, going to this Russian experiment, yeah, trying to keep people awake as long as possible, yeah.
I've heard
Remove the need to sleep. Have you heard it?
Yeah.
The Russian sleep experiment.
yeah.
They did it.
Oh, so you both already know what it is?
No, I've heard about stuff like this.
I've heard it.
It's like this big conspiracy about these sort of torture chambers where they kept people awake. Whether it's for research or not, but from what I know,
Yeah.
they turned to insanity.
Well, let me give you the background, and then let's discuss if that was us.
Okay.
What?
Yeah.
Let's go.
If
Let's
we
get
were
right,
to
get
that.
right into it.
So this experiment happened in the 1940s, right?
Okay.
So still during the war, yeah? During the war. Now, these group of Russian researchers, yeah, they made a groundbreaking discovery around a gas-based stimulant that basically eradicated the need to sleep for hours on end, right?
Oh,
Right.
So what they did, they got 5 test subjects, yeah, that they stated were enemies of the state, yeah? So they're nobodies, yeah? They're people in their eyes that they could disregard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No
they
one's
could
gonna
use-
miss 'em.
No one's gonna miss them. Yeah. They took them out of the gulags and took them in here, and who's gonna care?
Yeah.
Yeah. So they took these individuals, yeah, and then they sealed them in this chamber. And then they made sure that within this chamber that they can measure the oxygen levels and that they could make sure that how much of the gas that they're releasing and how much gas is left in conjunction with the oxygen that's available
To
in
try
there.
and optimize the duration,
Yes.
using
Oh,
the
yes,
least
yes.
amount of
Yes.
gas
Yeah.
to keep them awake the longer.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
mad.
But back then
That's
they
sick.
didn't. Yeah, but back then they didn't have CCTV. Yeah. So how did they monitor it? Well, they could only do 2 things. Yeah.
Sit
So
there and watch it.
so sit there and watch it. So they made like these portholes. Yeah. That obviously a thick glass on both sides, so it couldn't be broken through. None of the gas could come out and seep through. Yeah. It was a fully sealed chamber. Yeah. But so they had these portholes. But then also they needed to keep an ear on. Well, what are they talking about? You know,
Yeah.
what's their behavior?
Listening
what's
to the
sounds?
conversation.
So they
See
installed
what,
microphones in there as well. Yeah. So there were only two ways that they could do it. So for the first couple of days, the subject seemed very compliant.
yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't really do anything. Yeah. They had
Culture is.
they were provided the basics for survival. So they were given a bed, they were given a cot. Well, I call it a cot. It's basically the prison beds.
Yeah.
And then they were given tin food, and books. And I believe, I don't know how true this is, but they were given some toilet paper.
Some toilet paper.
Some toilet paper. Yeah.
That's like a bonus.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for taking part.
But why did they take part, these guys, as well? Like, they were promised that if they don't go to sleep for the next 30 days, they'll get their freedom.
Yeah.
So they were vested in making
They
sure
wanted to make
they
it, right?
wanted to stay awake for 30 days because they were like, if we can do this, we're out of here. Yeah. So first couple of days, no problems at all. After about the 5th day, that's when the atmosphere within the chamber starts to grow a bit ominous. Right? The conversations amongst the 5 inmates start to change. They start to talk about,
were they together?
Yeah, they're all together in this
right,
chamber.
right.
All 5 of them, they were together. Yeah?
Snap.
They start talking about the past lives and but over
Sort
the
of
gradual
dark
days,
stuff.
dark stuff about what they've done and how they ended up in the gulag, etc., etc.
Maybe
But-
the things they've done in the past that they're not proud of.
Yes, yeah. But as the days went on, right, they started complaining about the circumstances that led them to where they are now.
Yeah.
Paranoia set in, and then all of a sudden they stopped talking to each other. They stopped communicating with each other at all. Yeah.
But just like
Yeah. They stopped
blanking each other out.
They start blanking each other, right? After about 9-10 days, one of the subjects, he sat there, and what he starts to do is
start screaming.
he screams, but he doesn't stop screaming. Carries on screaming for 3 hours straight. Yeah.
Wow.
What?
This sucker had gone lost his mind. He's going crazy, yeah? 3 hours on the trot, he's screaming and screaming and screaming and screaming and screaming, yeah? He ends up tearing his vocal cords and...
From screaming
from screaming. But you know what was even stranger? The other 4 that were in there with him, they didn't react.
Oh, they didn't react?
They just sat there.
They just sat there. As if it wasn't even happening. Because obviously, don't forget, these scientists are watching through the portal.
Mm.
You know, they can hear the scream because of the microphones, and they're watching the behavior of everybody else. There's nobody going to go to this guy and say, "Yo, are you okay?" Yeah. They sit there and ignore him, like as if nothing's happening. But don't forget the paranoia that set in a few days earlier, so they're not even talking to each other.
Yeah.
But they're acting like they can't even see anything. They're not even going, "Shut up!"
Yeah, imagine someone screaming for 3 hours.
3 hours straight.
Do you reckon that they just mentally blocked it, or they went deaf?
No. Well, obviously we don't know. It's hard to say.
Probably like the mental state of just zoning out.
Yeah,
they can't sleep, but they're zoned out completely.
In their own sort of trance, or
that's what I'm thinking.
But then what happened is the other.
What day was this? This was
about day 9, 10.
Wow.
Yeah. Then the other
sleep.
They've not slept. Yeah. Then what's happened is the other inmates have started taking the books. Yeah. Started ripping the books out. Started wiping their own feces over the books and wiping it across the walls and everything. And then they started covering the portholes. So now all of a sudden they can hear,
but they can't see.
They can't see. Now, they left it for about 3 days, the scientists.
They just let them do what they do.
Because they can still hear them.
Yeah.
And obviously they don't want to ruin the experiment. But now 3 days have gone.
And they still haven't had any visual on them.
They haven't had any visual, but also for the 2 of them days, it's been complete silence. So they're thinking, well, these guys must be dead. We've got to go in. We've got to go in and find out.
I'm proper like vested in the story.
I need to know what's going on here, man.
So they end up going in, and checking them out. Turns out all 5 of them are still alive, right?
Even the one who was screaming.
Yeah, they're all alive, yeah.
Right.
But the chamber is in a gruesome state. They've been mutilating themselves. Yeah. So they've been mutilating themselves. Some with chunks of flesh stuffed into the drains. Yeah. Some of them removed their organs, and clearly there was something like really, really going on. But the strangest thing that the scientists seen was the fact that none of the food had been opened. Not one can of food had been opened.
From the beginning of the experiment.
Yeah. They're not eating anything.
What?
They're not eating anything. So they thought, you know what, we better move these guys and
But
take them out.
hang on, if they pull their organs out, how can they still survive? The power of the gas.
Anyway, you remember that chamber that you heard about about 7 years ago? Do you
I thought
remember
you were
that
actually
chamber?
going to check something.
Yeah, you know what I thought he was going to do? I thought he was going to go.
No, obviously, I'm not talking about their hearts, but they could have ripped out.
It was like
kidney or
Indiana
something.
Jones, like
Yeah.
Exactly.
Guys alive screaming.
Yeah, exactly. Like they could have done something, right? But anyway, the fact of the matter is that they ended up killing some of the scientists. Yeah?
Oh wow!
Well, how did they kill the scientist?
Because they tried to remove them. They're like, "You're coming out." They were like, "We're not going anywhere. You need to give us more of that gas. We're falling asleep."
Gas.
Well, give me the gas. We're falling asleep.
So they ended up killing.
Yeah. So obviously, what they ended up doing was,
They ended up taking them all out.
No. They ended up continuing because the guy that was in charge was like, "Listen, I don't give a shit.
Carry on.
You carry this on. Yeah. These guys are dispensable. What are you worried about them for?
Yeah.
Carry on the trial. Give them. They're asking for the gas. Give them Give them more gas. Let's see how far they can go." So so the scientists reluctantly sealed the chamber back up and started pumping it with gas. Surprisingly, upon the re-exposure of the gas, all the subjects that were left alive, because you're right, a couple of them died from taking out the organs, so there were 3 left.
Right.
Them 3 that were
still alive,
they ended up being calm and serene as anything.
I thought you were going to say.
So when they got exposed to the gas calmed them back down.
Yeah.
Gas calmed them back down.
It's a nerve gas, then, isn't it?
Yeah. And then they started pleading for freedom. One of the commanding officers went in, and he got killed by one of them. So the rest of them.
How are these guys taking
know,
out
like
freaking commanding
yeah,
officers?
I know.
Because obviously they went in to see like what's going on because they wanted to progress the experiment, but for whatever reason it wasn't going in the direction that they thought. So when the commanding officer goes in, obviously you got 3 of these guys that are jacked up on this gas.
Oh, so they've attacked.
They've attacked them, killed them. Then obviously they have
because they don't feel no pain.
Yeah. So
Like Mr. T.
so they have ended up going in, and people have died. Yeah. So what did they do? Well, there's only one thing you do: the remaining subjects, you kill them.
Kill them. Yeah.
Yeah. But then one of the guards that was went in. What was he exposed to?
The
The gas.
The gas. So now all the subjects are dead. Yeah. So they ain't getting no freedom. But then that one guard who was exposed, yeah, comes out, starts feeling delirious, and then they go to report back to the high chief, yeah, the main guy, Vlad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's the top lad.
Yeah, he's the top lad, yeah. Vlad the top lad.
Yeah.
And when he gets in front of Vlad,
Nah. I knew that was gonna happen.
killed him.
Is
It is a true story.
Was it a paranoia?
Yeah.
Is it because of the
'cause it's
paranoia?
all-
The paranoia kicked in. Yeah.
That's mad.
And then when they went back into the
Bang,
chamber,
Yeah.
afterwards, there was written in blood on the wall, "So nearly free."
Right, shoot me now. This is messed
Are you
up.
being serious? It was
Yeah.
actually another one so
Yeah.
nearly free, or did you just make that up?
No, so nearly free on the wall.
So how many days did it last in the end?
Well, they didn't make it past 15 days.
Whoa.
Think about it, 15 days, yeah. No,
So I think they need to get their facts right because they weren't really nearly free, were they?
no,
Yeah,
but
'cause
for
halfway
them,
through.
they're halfway there, weren't they?
Yeah.
Not nearly free though. They've still got a long way to go.
You know, but they were delirious. Do you think that they would have known how long they
Seen
were in
this
there?
guy? Yeah.
I'm delirious like Eddie Murphy.
They went through such trauma,
Yeah,
and they put on "We were nearly free."
I'm trying to make
because of-
light of this so I don't have nightmares tonight.
I know, but
that's crazy.
That is
Now
crazy.
imagine this. Yeah, now imagine this. What if us 3 were locked in there with them 5? How do you think you'd react?
I think the first person I would take out is Zed.
Dead and taken out.
Not without rubbing my feces all over your faces.
Right, so I'm taking
take
Zed. I'm
notes.
taking Zed out first because if he starts screaming, I'm definitely not going to miss that. Yeah, it'll probably burst my eardrums.
Oh yeah.
In hobby crack.
I don't know, man. It's one of those.
It's a crazy one.
It is crazy. I'd probably end up like exactly the same way
You'd
as.
be delirious, won't you?
Well, what else would you do? Yeah,
Yeah.
this is it. This is
It'd be
it.
exactly the same. I'd probably.
Now you know what I would do. I would probably
I'd probably. But
tell you
I
guys
probably
to
wouldn't
kill
write
me.
nearly free in blood. I'd probably do it in like my own like feces because I'd have lost my mind that
In the
much.
fishy. Let me write on the wall with my feces.
What? Did I say it wrong?
Yeah, feces.
Feces. Yeah.
Feces are like tuna and goldfish.
Feces, you can find lots of them in the sea. Yeah.
I want some feces, please. Feces. Yeah. Because I probably lost my mind that much. Probably that's what you probably end up doing, isn't it?
Well, this is it. It's
I think, who had the time to write "So Nearly Free"? That's what I don't.
Well,
get.
they're in there.
they're in that.
15 days.
They're in the chamber.
Of course.
Yeah.
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 My God.
What would Phaser write on the wall?
Zed. I'd leave it at that.
Zed.
I'd leave it at that.
One of them had a
Zed
lasting memory.
Did it? Zed was here.
Yeah. 1947. but you know what? Like, if you think about it, like some of the experiments people do on people are crazy.
Yeah.
Like even outside of the war, you know, if you think that there was a time there was a time where we used to lobotomize people,
Yeah.
drill through their skulls. So when you hear stories like this, it doesn't seem so far-fetched. Because if we used to drill through skulls, you know, and we used to do things like shock therapy and all these other experiments that we used to do on people
Yeah.
in the name of science
Yeah.
to find out how it would
How do
affect
people
them,
work? Yeah.
and how, you know, and could you control people? And because don't forget, since the beginning of time, man has tried to control. Yeah.
Other
So
men,
if
yeah.
you can gain some edge on that and find a way to
control the masses.
control the masses,
Yeah.
you know, the media. The media.
Control the media, control the masses.
Yeah. Then how would you, how powerful would you become? Yeah. So these types of stories, there probably is some embellishment within that, but the reality is don't try and create superhumans who never sleep.
Yeah.
Because you end up fucking doolally.
You end up doolally, you're dead.
Yeah, exactly.
Let me go check on my people.
Yeah, dead.
Yeah, that was my experiment.
Mind blown.
That was great. I love that story.
Yeah, it's a crazy one, isn't it? It's a crazy one.
We'll have to do some more research and find some of these videos. We won't be able to show them on the podcast, but I'm sure you guys...
No, but they didn't have CCTV back then, so you won't be able to find
but
that.
I mean, they must have had some pictures or something.
Yeah.
They must have had a picture.
Don't know.
Or a fabricated piece of evidence.
Yeah.
Don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But what I would say is, think about that while you're sleeping tonight.
Yeah.
As that gas releases through your vents into your bedroom, and you start getting a bit delirious.
Phaser thoughts.
While you're delirious and everything's happening, and you get your phone out and you start scrolling youtube.com/@Benchwarmers UK. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the like and leave a comment. And if there's anything that you want us to talk about in specific or specific topic, let us know.
If there's something you want Phaser to do, which I've already got something I want you to do.
What am I, performing monkey?
Yeah, well, I want you to write on the wall, Phaser was here in your own feces.
No.
Oh,
feces. And on that bombshell, sayonara.
See you for the next one.